When I was applying to college, the one person said to me, my father, you can be whatever you want to be. Don't let people tell you what to be. And whether you're an athlete or you're a non-athlete, you're a man or you're a woman, just know you can be whatever you want to be and don't let society tell you what to be. And I thank my dad for that.
In my home, we are not carrying the traditional roles. My husband has actually been the caretaker of my daughter since the moment I came back from maternity leave. And we are parents. And I think that is important, that it's not the dad's role and the mom's role, but we are parenting our child. And so it's curious to me. I don't find that my husband is ever asked how he balances his responsibilities as a father in the same way that I am asked.
We all know that society has a certain amount of gender stereotypes that are just there. For example, we expect women to typically dress feminine and act and be polite and accommodating and nurturing and sweet. And we expect men to generally be very strong and aggressive and bold. But this is clearly an oversimplification of these stereotypes. And this gender stereotype leads to sexism. It is sexism. And gender stereotypes can be very harmful to these people because it stops us from fully expressing ourselves as who we are as individuals and stops us from ever showing our true emotions. It's up to us to call this out and make sure when you see this on TV, when you see this in media, when you see this on social media, you should bring it to people's attention because it's just not right and we have to get past that.
There are a lot of ways that you guys can support women's rights. But I think one of the most important ways is language, right? The way that you guys speak about women and girls your age. That tends to be an area where, you can joking around, maybe cross a line and offend a female counterpart. Listen, I'm an advocate of the brotherhood. I love the brotherhood. What you guys have is, you'll have it for the rest of your life. But within that, you need to call each other out when you step across the line.
Within any institution, whether we're talking about this particular school, Jesuit institutions across the country, or the greater church, if we are going to work towards greater equality, then we need to make sure that women's voices are heard at every level. They must be participating in every conversation.
The biggest change in me since joining Prep was realizing how this place has changed so many people's lives. And I would say that running the school, the complexities of it, it's not an easy task. But it matters. It matters to a lot of people's lives, and I'm very grateful for that. And there's historical analysis that says women get paid less than men. The problem is not all the same jobs are being filled by women and men. So it is even more complex than just taking men make more than women. If you look at Fortune 500 companies, less than 5% of them are run by women. So the historical bosses in business have been men. That is slowly changing. When it's time for the promotion or it's time for the pay raise, the women have to ask for it just like a man does.
I think as a teacher of literature, I have an advantage because I can make sure that I'm choosing texts in which we encounter a variety of female characters, and we can analyze the way in which authors are presenting them as either positive role models or perhaps presenting them as a problematic way in which we are viewing women in society. I think anyone who has sat in my English class knows that I'm really ready to argue about and confront problematic representation of women. And I think that I am grateful that throughout my career here at Prep that I've been standing in front of rooms of young men, and you guys have been willing to have those conversations with me. And I understand that might not be comfortable when I'm the only girl in the room. But over time, I've been able to push classes to be willing to have that conversation with me, and I've been very appreciative of that.
Sometimes I guess women are subjected to this character analysis that men maybe are not. And I think that that's something that you guys should be aware of when you go out into the world, and another thing that you could call out. So oftentimes when women are seen as compassionate, it's weak, or maybe she has poor judgment because she's compassionate. Whereas if a man is seen as compassionate, you are loving and caring. It's very different.
What kind of partner are you going to be to any woman in your life? What kind of support system are you going to be for them so that they can, if they would like, to return to work after 8 weeks? I was desperate to get back to you all. After my maternity leave, I do not see my place here at Prep as a job. I see it as a vocation. And my husband understood that, and we arranged our lives around something that was very important to me, and that allowed me to not fall behind in my career. So as you move forward and grow as individuals and pick partners in your lives, what are you going to do in your life to ensure that their dreams are as valuable as yours and that you can have the life that you want together?
Also, to try to ignore some of those stereotypes that are out there. That's a big one in your transformative years, is to see that there are women that are strong and assertive, as well as there are men that are compassionate and kind. And that makes a big difference. And I just hope that, as Ms. Hoover said, there's give and take in any relationship. And my family never had gender identities in it. From the very beginning, I had to balance my work the same way my husband had to balance his work. And if he didn't support me, I wouldn't be able to be who I am when I come here every single day, because my mind would be someplace else. So, and hopefully that my children saw that. And this is what, I didn't have a lot of fantastic or huge female role models growing up. I grew up in a family of all boys. So it was, I'm hoping that my children, now that they've experienced, dad can help in the kitchen and mom can help in the garden, and mom and dad can both work, and we're still being raised as people in society, that can go forward, and that this next generation, your generation, as you get married and start your own families, will blend into understanding that those gender identities are just that. They're stereotypes. They're not who you are, and you have to allow for both sides of it.
Awesome. I think that's a really great way to end things off. That concludes our panelist portion. Can we just get a round of applause?